would do anything known to man to get in a Super Bowl. That's a fact.
Alright, sports fans, today we're talking about the battle between Jerry Jones and your soul. The title isn't clickbait. For years, Mr. Jerry Jones has been on top of the world, running the most valuable sports franchise on earth, with nothing but losing seasons and playoff appearances to show for it. There's never been a Cowboys season that's ended on a truly positive note that I can remember. But we should be inspired by this guy, right? This is the gambler, the same guy that risked his entire family fortune to dig for oil, and then risked it all again to buy a struggling NFL franchise that was bleeding money. One question for the group: why do people stay loyal to this team? You know there are other options, right? Well, after minutes of research, hours of planning, and years of doom and despair, I might have something, but I'm really not too sure about it. I'm sorry, I don't know any Creed songs. My friend bought me this shirt. Wait a second. Y'all know Jerry, right? Jerry as in Jerry Jones, the builder of Jerry World, the $20 billion man, the friend of the channel, Jerry Jones. Look guys, it's been a year now. I've posted over 500 short form videos and only 7 long form because of my inability to lock in, and probably like Instagram Reels or something. But I kind of think I know what I'm doing by now. If I keep it short, interesting, and not have too many editing mistakes, you won't even have to watch any ads because I'm only at 2,000 subscribers. I'm doing this for free. Part 1, Face of the Franchise. Usually that phrase is reserved for quarterbacks or other big name players. But when talking about the Cowboys, that line can only be used in reference to one person, Gerald Wayne Jones Sr. But it's all good. If my parents named me Gerald, I'd probably risk the family fortune too. Jerry Jones was born in Los Angeles, California in 1942, but just 3 years later, his family moved to North Little Rock, Arkansas, the town he grew up in and the high school he played running back for until he graduated in 1960. Man, I love Wikipedia. His father, Pat, eventually becoming the president of Modern Security Life Insurance Company. But during his time with the company, their assets increased from $440,000 to $6 million. And in today's monies, that's like going from about $4.6 million to $62.3 million, which is how the family acquired their first and very humble family fortune. Meanwhile, Jerry was playing Division I football at Arkansas, where he became co-captain, won a national championship, met his best friend and future coach of the Cowboys, Jimmy Johnson, and joined Kappa Sig. After college, he borrowed $1 million from Jimmy Hoffa's union, a labor union leader with mysterious ties to the mafia that mysteriously disappeared in 1975. I genuinely don't know what that's about. Well, he used that $1 million to open up a string of pizza parlors in Missouri that failed, but Jones got a job at Modern Security Life, a master's degree in business, and more failed business ventures. However, he did start Jones Oil and Land Lease, where he turned that modest family fortune into a pretty decent one, all things considered. And then he turned right around and bought the Cowboys for $140 million. Can you imagine every business venture you had during your life is a failure? You finally catch a lucky break, and then you immediately turn around and throw the equivalent of $1.4 billion into a struggling NFL franchise? And remember, this wasn't the bougie Cowboys of today. This team was struggling. They were losing money. Anyways, Jerry purchases the struggling Cowboys for $100 million or $1.4 billion in today's money from H.R. Bright. And it doesn't get off to the best start. He fires longtime head coach Tom Landry, he hires his buddy Jimmy Johnson, and he fires GM Tex Schramm. Are we recording now? Are we? Good. Part 2, a brief yet complicated history of the Dallas Cowboys who actually play in Arlington. If you like that part title, please comment "nice jersey" in the comments below. As you can see, if you haven't figured out already, I am what they call a Cowboys fan. I know, I'm not happy about it either. I used air quotes because I try not to get too invested in this team, even though I watch most of the games. My general rule is just don't draft any Cowboys players in fantasy and you'll probably be fine. And don't gamble. I think it's no good, but if that's your thing, just please don't bet on the Cowboys. The Cowboys started out as an expansion team in 1960 and really struggled early. They won 0 games in their inaugural season, but Tom Landry turned out to be a pretty good head coach, and the franchise was patient as he slowly led them into prominence, finally breaking through in the 70s, winning 2 Super Bowls in 71 and 77. But in the 80s, the team started to struggle, front office tensions followed, and that leads us to Jerry Jones. If you remember, he fired Tom, the GM, and then he made the trade. Basically, the Cowboys traded away Herschel Walker for a bunch of draft picks, and they used those picks to help put together a pretty ridiculous couple of draft classes and really helped rebuild this team and turn them into a contender. Dallas did finish that 1989 season 1-15, but the pieces slowly started to fall in place. And in 1990, they improved, going 7-9. In 1991, they won the wild card game, got obliterated by the Lions, but in 92, it all came together. They went 13-3 in the regular season and won the Super Bowl against the Bills, who in that game turned the ball over 9 times. But the Cowboys were back, and they went back-to-back. Why did I write that? In 1993, the Cowboys went 12-4 and beat the Bills again, but this time it was only by 17. They had to mount a comeback in this one, but it was another great win for Jimmy Johnson's team. This seems to be working pretty well. The team is great. It's all going well. They just won a Super Bowl, and then Jerry Jones fires Jimmy Johnson. His Arkansas buddy, a national champion, a 2-time defending Super Bowl champion, just got fired. And I'm sure it had to do something with Jerry wanted more control, so the partnership blew up. But Barry Switzer's here now. He seems to be doing okay, making it all the way back to the NFC Championship game before losing to the 49ers. And in 1995, they won it all again. The glory days never left. This is America's team. What? The Cowboys, as you probably know, have never made it back to the Super Bowl since. Now, with the conclusion of the winning portion of this video, let's recap the Cowboys' last 30 years as fast as humanly possible. In 1996, the Cowboys finished 10-6, won their wild card, and then lost to Carolina. But the dynasty's not dead, right? Well, in 1997, the team collapsed, going 6-10 in Barry Switzer's last year as the head coach. You know what? Let's start a head coaching tracker. 1998 was the first year for Chan Gailey as head coach, and 10-6 was not a bad start at all, but the team did get upset by the Cardinals in the wild card. In 1999, the team went 8-8, and look at that, Chan Gailey's gone. To kick off the 2000s, Jerry picked up Dave Campo to lead the team, and that led to 3 straight 5-11 seasons, including a 9-game stretch where they signed former MLB pitcher Chad Hutchinson to play quarterback. 2003 wasn't bad with the introduction of a new Hall of Fame head coach, Bill Parcells, who got a 10-6 season, despite Quincy Carter throwing for 21 interceptions and 17 touchdowns. And then they lost to the Panthers in the wild card game. And in 05 and 06, the team went 9-7 under Parcells, who got fired the following season. It's 2007, Bill Parcells is gone, but now we have Wade Phillips, who didn't really last long, going 13-3 in his debut, but could never really capitalize with all the talent he had. It's 2010 now. We have Jason Garrett, who finished 6-10, 8-8, 8-8, and then 8-8 again in his first 4 seasons after taking over for Phillips. And then we had a pretty good season in 2014, lose to the Packers in the playoffs. In 2016, Dak is here. He's pretty good, but we lose to Green Bay in the divisional round. The team only won 8 games in 2019 and 6 in 2020, which led to the firing of Jason and hiring of Mike McCarthy. And then they went 12-5 for 3 straight years, but always exited the playoffs as soon as possible. In 2024, McCarthy's team missed the playoffs for the first time, going 7-10, and now he's gone. This year, we have Brian Schottenheimer. Well, that was fun, right? 8 coaches, 20-plus starting quarterbacks, and a total of 5 playoff wins in a span of 30 years. Now let's talk about your soul. That was kind of a joke. I've dedicated some time in this video to humanize Mr. Jerry Jones, and that's on purpose. Hopefully I've established that he's a risk-taking businessman who turned a struggling NFL expansion team into a global media empire and has a pretty strong sense of self-belief. Because I don't know this man personally, so this isn't meant to be a takedown of him as a person. However, I do know his public image. Probably too well at this point. Part 3. Let's wrap this up. The reason for this title is because every year there is a battle playing out in every Cowboys fan. Honestly, it's become more about trying to survive this roller coaster ride than football. It's like the entire franchise is stuck in this constant will they won't they roller coaster. A team that is more reality show than anything else, and that all comes back to Jerry Jones. One narrative that I see from fans quite often is that he's just doing this for the money. That this is just another investment to increase Mr. Jones's net worth. But even I don't think this is an elaborate scheme. Jerry Jones wants to win a Super Bowl, but he wants to do it his way, and that's why the Cowboys fail. Also, he doesn't need the money. According to Forbes, he's worth $20.6 billion. Of course, he's not going to bankrupt the team or anything like that. He is holding an asset. But why this all applies to you is because the battle for your soul is in this unrelenting hype machine. We create expectations, we buy jerseys, we make entire video essays on the internet about it because this is going to be the year. Right? The team manages to stay just competitive enough, not because it's an elaborate scheme, but because Jerry genuinely wants to win a Super Bowl. And when the team eventually loses, the cycle starts all over again. I struggled writing this conclusion because this isn't supposed to be a stop watching the Cowboys video. I think the conclusion I've reached is everyone, including me, needs to be aware of what they're buying. We as fans just need to be more aware about what's going on because it's not about money, it's not about the fans, it's not some elaborate scheme. It's about pride. That's all I got for tonight. Shout out my patrons. If you're interested in supporting me, all my links are below. Likes, comments, and subscriptions are much appreciated, but more importantly, thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.